The fool had only watched his master practice martial arts once, but he had already learned to replicate it perfectly. With a simple sweep of his hand, through the air the force of the wind blew so fiercely that it extinguished all the candles on the table. Even his master to reach this level would have had to train for another 20 years. Then the fool swung his fist, and the power of the wind was so strong it almost uprooted a tree. However, that day the great disciple who had betrayed the family arrived with enemies and injured several other disciples. Their goal was to steal the master's precious book. The great disciple took a young girl hostage and forced the master into a fight to secure the book. With no other choice, the master signed the contract, but it was a trap, for the great disciple knew that his master, aging and sick, would not be able to resist. As expected, the master found himself in a dire situation and was severely wounded by a punch from the great disciple. This scene triggered the fool's memories. In truth, he had been the most powerful person in the past 100 years, but after being betrayed by his enemies and thrown off a cliff, he lost his memory. Fortunately, his master's family had rescued him, but his injuries were so severe that he had become an idiot. Over the years, they lived together like family. However, the fool's life was now in danger unless they could raise $500,000 for his medical treatment. But with the high cost of care, the master decided to sell his dojo. The great disciple, furious, believed an idiot was not worth such an expense and accused the master of injustice. After being reprimanded by the master, he managed to rally the other disciples to his cause, suggesting they betray the master and make him regret his decisions. But no one suspected that this day would come so soon. The great disciple threatened the master he didn't sign the contract, he would kill his daughter. At that moment, the fool rushed to save the young girl. The great disciple, knowing that the master's ultimate technique had been passed on to the fool, grew furious and ordered the other disciples to attack him. Unable to watch his disciple being mistreated, the master finally agreed to fight. During the battle, he was gravely injured, and the great disciple demanded that he surrender and hand over the precious book, or he would kill the master and dismantle the dojo. The master refused to give in and was once again seriously wounded. Seeing this, the fool rushed to protect his master, but he too was badly injured. At that moment, he regained part of his memory and declared himself the strongest person in the past century. But the others mocked him and provoked him. Disoriented, he was struck again and lost consciousness. A woman who had tried to intervene to stop the great disciple was also beaten. When she refused to marry him, he shoved her to the ground in an attempt to humiliate her. The master tried to protect her, but was violently struck and fell unconscious. In a fit of rage, the great disciple tore the dojo sign off and hurled it at the master, ready to deal the final blow. Everyone felt engulfed in despair, but just when all seemed lost, the fool suddenly woke up and rushed to intervene.